In the last video I talked about various aspects of moe in mainstream anime culture. What I did not do in that video was actually try to delve into what really makes a character moe. The definition I provided in that video was that a character elicits a euphoric response from the viewer. What I want to add to that definition is from scholar Patrick W. Goldbright, in that a moe character must elicit a rarefied euphoric response. Rarefied is defined by dictionary.com as of belonging to or appealing to an exclusive group, select, esoteric. Simply meaning the moe response is a euphoric response specifically tailored to the anime/manga community. Jabanator did an article attempting to define moe by coming up with the 4 laws of moe, them being a character must be cute, young, innocent, and quirky to be considered moe. I see these laws as an incomplete expression of what moe can be. Therefore, I argue the following 3 points as true. Number 1. Moe is not a distinct character archetype. A viewer's perception of the moe-ness of a character can be placed along what I call a continuum of categorization. On one side, there is the moe blob, which exists solely to provide moe for the series. They may have some unique traits, but they are highly overshadowed by their explicit moe-ness for the series. On the other side, we have the absolute badass. Whereas the moe blob makes the audience want to protect them, the absolute badass is seen as the cool character who needs no protection. Number 2. The laws provided by Jabanator are, in my opinion, not laws, but rather what I consider qualifier traits. These are the character traits that, when come together, can form moe. These are innocence, cuteness, perceived age, and quirkiness. I changed the Jabanator moe law, young, to perceived age, because of older characters that can achieve moe. An example of this is Ruji's mother, Yasuko Takasu, from Toradora, which some would consider moe, even though she is older. Number 3. Above all else, characters who give the rarefied euphoric reaction to the viewer can be described as moe. This euphoric reaction is based on the audience's desire to protect the character. This feeling is usually associated with their innocence, cuteness, perceived age, and quirkiness. I describe moe as existing along its own continuum of categorization, and each of the qualifier traits also exist along their own continuum. Qualifying the level of innocence is a dichotomy between perceived good and evil. On one side we have the absolute saint, and on the other, the absolute evildoer. Of course, concepts of innocence are subjective, as is moe, but there are certainly more universal traits that can be described as good or evil in anime. An example of a few innocent traits in anime are nonviolence, virginity, introvertedness, compassion, forgiveness, etc. Any trait that can be described as opposite to these examples lessens the likelihood of them being considered moe. However, having a non-innocent trait does not disqualify them from being moe. Qualifying the level of cuteness is simply deciding on a 0 to 10 scale, where on one side we have absolute cute, which is a character that is the epitome of cuteness, and on the other is the absolute disgust. Moe tends to lean farther to the absolute cute side of the continuum, but does not necessarily need to be. The traits that qualify cuteness are predominantly physical attributes such as physical appearance, body language, and speech patterns. The perceived age aspect is a combination of both mental and physical indicators of age. Characters who are young but act like old men usually aren't moe, similar to how a cute older character can act like a 15-year-old and be considered moe. In weighing the age factor, mental age is more important than actual physical age. The perceived age continuum categorization is based on how young you feel the character is. A character that is thousands of years old becomes irrelevant when they look and act like a 12-year-old girl when deciding whether they are moe or not. Quirkiness is talking about the unique character traits that go against the social norms. On one hand, the absolute spaz is a theoretical combination of a character inhibiting the maximum number of socially unacceptable mannerisms. On the other side, the absolute bore is a theoretical combination of an absolute conformist to social standards, insomuch as they have no perceivable unique traits. Moe tends to lean towards quirky character traits, and thus more to the left side of the continuum. So what's Moe then? When describing Moe, you are verifying that all of the qualifier traits are sufficient enough to warrant that rarefied euphoric feeling. The question is, what level is needed in each of the categories? Kamina, her innocence is 4, cuteness is 3, perceived age is less than 23, and a quirkiness is 6. Probably not Moe. Magical Witch Merudu from Oreimo, innocence 10, cuteness 10, perceived age less than 9, quirkiness 8, most likely Moe. The above examples represent an easy dichotomy between who a Moe character is and is not. The problem is addressing every variance in between. That's a completely subjective opinion and will certainly change over time, depending on what anime/manga is created in the future. But we can still create some general boundaries on its use, and that will be the subject of the next video. Thank you.
Hey there guys, thanks for watching my video on what's really Moe. If you like this video, then like it. If you hate the video, as always, leave a comment saying you hate it. You know, I respond to pretty much everything. Please subscribe if you really like this stuff. I should be releasing more content on Moe pretty soon. So, look forward to seeing you guys.